2016. And at this moment, would Mr. Rooney lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Roll call, please.
Chair David L. Muse.
Here.
Vice Chair Mario Maciel.
Here.
Commissioner Edwin Borges.
Here.
Commissioner Edith Flores.
Here.
Commissioner Kevin Rooney.
Here.
Thank you. At this time, I will now open public communication for anyone wishing to speak on anything other than an agenda item. Those wishing, please step forward. See no interest, I'll now close public hearing. At this point, let's go to first item, which is the approval of the minutes from November 9th. Were there any omissions or additions by any commissioners? Okay, seeing none, I will accept the motion.
I move to approve the minutes.
I'll second
it.
Any objections? Seeing none, motion passes. Next agenda, staff.
Honorable Chair, Commissioners, members of the audience, the case before you is a request for consideration of a tentative parcel map, zone variance, and conditional use permit to combine 2 lots into one with less than the minimum required lot size and lot width for the construction of a 4,016 square foot commercial building with drive-through within the FC Freeway Commercial Zone, pursuant to Section 152.10 and Table 153.050.020 of the city's municipal code. The location is 13905 Francisquito Avenue. The applicant is Demesny Development Company, case numbers ZV713, PM 1435, and CP 840. The subject property is located in the Freeway Commercial Zone and is surrounded by similarly zoned properties. The property consists of 2 parcels currently and is currently vacant. The property is surrounded by 3 streets and an existing residence to the north. In order to construct a proposed commercial building with a drive-through, the applicant is required to combine the 2 parcels into one. However, a zone variance is required because the new parcel being created does not meet the FC zone's minimum lot size and width requirement. The building's design and site layout was reviewed and tentatively approved by the Design Review Committee. Pursuant to Table 153.050.020 of the Municipal Code, the proposed drive-through requires Planning Commission approval of a conditional use permit. The drive-through and parking lot layout is designed in a manner that would be less of an impact to the residences adjacent and in proximity to the property. Vehicle headlights will be directed away from the residence, and landscape enhancements will block headlights facing towards Francisquito. The order or speaker box is also directed away from residents. A condition of approval was added to ensure that the speaker volume will comply with code requirements. The floor plan layout will allow for 3 tenants with a drive-through for tenant space A. These are the elevations. And as you can see, the tenant space A would be to the far left facing the front of the building. Staff has reviewed the application and operational characteristics and has determined that with the added conditions of approval, the proposed building with drive-through will not have an adverse impact to the adjacent properties or the community. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution PC 16-24, entitled A Resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Baldwin Park approving a tentative parcel map, zone variance, and zone variance to combine 2 lots into 1 lot with less than the minimum required lot size and lot width pursuant to sections 152.10 and table 153.050.030. A related request, A related request is for a conditional use permit to have a vehicular drive-through in conjunction with the construction of a new 4,016 square foot commercial building within the FC Freeway Commercial Zone pursuant to Table 153.050.020 of the city's municipal code. The location is 13905 Francisquito Avenue. The applicant, DeBensny Development Company, case numbers ZV713 PM 1435 and CP 840. This concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you. At this point, do any commissioners have any questions of staff? All right, seeing none, at this point, I will now open public communication. Anyone wishing to speak on this agenda item, please step forward. Seeing no interest, I will now close public communication. Are the property owners here? What is the proposed, or who may be going in there? Do we have an idea? Okay. All right. Thank you.
I have a question. How far away is that exit on the east side from the freeway off-ramp?
Sir, could you come up, please? Thank you.
Make sure the mic is on.
Sir, when you come up to the speaker, will you please identify yourself?
Thank you. John Hendershot.
So you were saying how far is the exit on?
I'm not
Yes, that one.
completely sure. Perhaps staff can enlighten us. But I would think it's about 100 feet. There's a residence, as staff pointed out, to the right of the drawing as it is there. And that lot plus the setback on our lot should be 100 feet or more.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Staff, in regards to Dalewood, is that a two lane or a 4 lane? I think it's just a 2 lane, isn't it? All right. Okay. Again, any questions from any commissioners?
One last question, also pertaining to the same thing, that exit on the Dalewood side. My concern is, would people be able to make a left turn from that particular exit? Because if I'm not mistaken, it's real close to that off-ramp.
One thing that I'd like to point out is one of the conditions that was brought to my attention by the engineering division is that they want that exit possibly to be moved further away. Yeah. So
Closer to Francisquito.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for the same concern. It's in the conditions of approval of the Public Works Department.
Okay. Good, because that was also my concern.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And again, did I close public communication?
Yes.
Okay. At this point, I will accept a motion.
Motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, so who first? Kevin? Okay. Okay, we have a second. Do I have any objections? Seeing none, motion passes with the conditional use permit. Thank you. Next item, please.
Yes, Honorable Chair. The case before you is a request for consideration of the following. One, a conditional use permit for vehicular access or vehicular drive-through in conjunction with a 6,840 square foot building pursuant to Table 153.050.020. Number two, a zone variance from Section 153.120.240 to allow the drive-through queuing aisles to be placed on three sides of the building. And three, a modification to Exhibit A of CP 814 pursuant to Section 153.210.130.c of the city's municipal code in order to change the approved parking layout within the FCSV Freeway Commercial Sierra Vista Overlay Zone. The location is 13916 Garvey Avenue. The applicant is RM Callahan Consultants, LLC. Case numbers is CP 845, ZV 714, and CP 814 mod. The subject property is located in the freeway commercial zone just north of the 10 freeway. It is surrounded by similarly zoned properties as well. The site is the oval site property, which consists of two parcels, half of which is currently under construction. That would be the western half. And the proposed building this evening is, with the drive-through, is the one located on the eastern parcel of the oval site. The subject parcel is surrounded by Garvey to the north, a curving on-ramp for the I-10 freeway to the east and the south, and the LA Fitness parcel to the west. In order to construct the proposed commercial building, with a drive-through, the applicant is required to modify the original conditional use permit, Exhibit A, to include a drive-through layout, reduce the size of the building, and to reduce parking to incorporate outdoor seating in front of the building. Keep in mind that CP 814's original exhibit encompasses in this parcel as well. It was an entire oval site conditional use permit. So that's why the modification is required. The applicant is also requesting Planning Commission approval of CP 845 for the actual drive-through use itself for this particular parcel, as required in Table 153.050.020 of the Municipal Code. However, City Municipal Code only allows for drive-through queuing to wrap around three sides of a building. And this is the proposed layout. Therefore, the applicant is requesting a zone variance since the subject parcel is half of the oval. It's oddly shaped. The proposed design and layout is the most effective for parking, circulation, and access in this case. The building design was reviewed and tentatively approved by the city's design review committee. The drive-through and parking lot layout is designed in a manner that would be most effective considering the half oval shape of the site. Vehicle headlights will be buffered by the proposed landscape enhancements. And a condition of approval, again, was also added to ensure that the speaker volume will comply with code requirements. The floor plan layout will allow for 4 tenants with a drive-through for tenant space A1. These are the elevations here. And to the far left, again, is the tenant space that would be benefit of drive-through. Staff has reviewed the applications and the operational characteristics and has determined that with the added conditions of approval, the proposed building with drive-through will not have an adverse impact to the adjacent properties or the community. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution PC 16-25 entitled The Resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Baldwin Park approving 1, a conditional use permit for a vehicular drive-through in conjunction with a 6,840 square foot building pursuant to Table 153.050.020. 2, a zone variance from Section 153.120.240 to allow drive-through queuing aisles to be placed on 3 sides of the building. And 3, a modification to Exhibit A of CP 814 pursuant to Section 153.210.130.c of the city's municipal code to change the approved parking layout within the FCSV, Freeway Commercial Sierra Vista Overlay Zone. Location is 13916 Garvey Avenue. The applicant, RM Callahan Consultants LLC, case number CP845, ZV714, and CP814 mod. This concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions to staff at this point? I have one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In regards to the location of these restaurants and the LA Fitness, the traffic on Garvey, have we talked about some type of traffic solution as far as, I don't know, because it's going to be heavy.
The original approval for the oval site encompassed an environmental document that addressed all traffic. And so that's already been approved, and it covers this as well.
Okay. Okay. Are there any questions from any commissioners? Okay, seeing none at this point, I will now open public communications. Anyone wishing to speak on this agenda item, please step forward and please state your name.
Good evening. My name is Mike Callahan. I'm the applicant. I represent Fitness International, the current owner of the property, as well as Bristol Development Partners, who are under contract to purchase Parcel 2, which is the parcel upon which the proposed project is located. You may recall, and I think each of you commissioners were here present on May 27th, 2015, and you approved the LA Fitness project, as it were. So over time, we were able to enter a contract to sell the property to a developer. That's Bristol. And Bristol has actually 4 executed leases with each of these tenants, of course, contingent upon your approval of the project. So that includes Chipotle, Waba Grill, Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, where the drive-thru is located, and Jersey Mike's Subs. So if you have any questions of me, I'm happy to answer them. I also have the buyers of the parcel here as well, if you'd like to ask questions as well.
Commissioners, go ahead.
I had one particular question. Upon looking on the map, I don't see any space where vendors will actually come and park their, let's say it's an 18-wheeler on the particular site.
Well, there's a right here where the pointer, that's the required loading zone. We'll have bobtail trucks, or what would ordinarily deliver to these particular businesses, and certainly not during busy hours, I can assure you of that. But the loading zone is as required in the zoning code. And you see it there crosshatched.
Okay, so that loading zone will be able to handle the size of a bobtail?
Yes, and it meets the size requirements.
It meets, for the size of the building, it meets the code requirements.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
My other question would be to staff in regards to the land that's further east from there. I guess that land doesn't belong to us.
No, it's a
Or to
Caltrans
the
property. Caltrans property?
Okay, and that will remain untouched from what I see.
Yeah, the applicant is proposing a pretty elaborate landscape plan, as you might have seen in your attachments that were delivered to you, to try to buffer that from this development. But
Is there any way to negotiate also the Caltrans area to clean that up a little bit to make it look semi-decent? Because when you come off the off-ramp, that's the first thing you're going to see.
Caltrans doesn't negotiate.
No?
Not really. Unfortunately not. It's a struggle to get them to do things. So, I mean, I can definitely talk to Public Works about it, but just be aware that nothing happens overnight with them, and it's a struggle.
If I might add, there is some landscaping there that Caltrans installed a couple of years ago now. And on sheet 7 of the package, in our landscape plan, we attempted to show what's there on the Caltrans property. So I think over time it's going to fill in, and hopefully they'll keep the weeds down below 3 or 4 feet high. I noticed, they don't do a lot of maintenance, but at any rate, there is some landscaping there existing.
What businesses are going to be there again?
Excuse me?
The leases, what businesses are those again?
Well, starting from north to south or top to bottom of the plan, we have Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf with a drive-through. Then there's Jersey Mike's Subs, and then Waba Grill, and I think you're familiar with them. There's a second location here in the city. And then Chipotle is the farthest to the south. And, it's kind of miraculous that the developer has all the leases fully executed at this point.
Any more questions?
I have one. So is Garvey going to stay as a 2-lane? It's 2 lanes, right?
Yes, there is some additional pavement and widening as a result of all the new improvements along the south side of Garvey, but it will remain as 2 lanes.
Okay, thank you.
How many lanes for parking? How many spots are available in that whole project?
The entire project, I believe there's 374. And I believe there's a surplus of 5 or 6 stalls at this point, over and above what's required by the code.
Yeah, I think it's 300 for LA Fitness and the other 74 were directed to.
Right, the 300 are required for LA Fitness, and then we have 74, 6,800. So there's 69 required for this restaurant building.
All right, thank you. I would also like to take this moment to say thank you for bringing these establishments into Baldwin Park, the Coffee Bean and the Chipotle's and Jersey Mike's, and Waba Grill also is so far that we know, has been doing very well over in its current location. So,
yeah, these are great businesses for this location. And I've personally been involved with this project for 4 years, so it's so personally it's really great to see it come to fruition. The health club is due to open around April 1st next year, and then we'll get under construction on this building about that time, and hopefully the tenants will be open and operating by the end of next year.
all right, very good.
One final question. Do you know if the LA Fitness, will it have amenities for a swimming pool, or is that not going to be part of that?
Oh, yes. There's a swimming pool in the club. And, aerobics, cycling. There are, at least 100 cardio machines. It's 45,000 square feet. It's very similar to the club that you see off I-10 about 5 miles east in West
Rosemead,
Covina, except it's flipped around. So it's very similar to that.
Thank you.
There was
I have
a-
another one.
Right.
I'm not too familiar with the drive-through queue length. How does that work from when you're ordering? And I've never been through one of those, so just curious.
Well, it's a little hard to see, but there's a menu board on the drive-through lane right about there. So you pull in and you can see the cars plotted in there. And so you place your order, and then you drive to the pickup window, which is on the north side there where the pointer is located, to pick up your beverages or whatever it is you've ordered.
Oh, so that's for Coffee Bean only? Is that?
Yes,
or-
only for Coffee Bean. The others don't have drive-throughs.
Okay, I was confused. Okay.
And there, you can see the patio out front. They all like to have outdoor seating. So that's a feature of each of the four businesses.
Okay, thanks.
I had one concern. Not that long ago, I saw a lot of graffiti being put on my LA Fitness building, and I was upset. You guys will have guards while this project is going on, right?
Well, we have, there's graffiti coatings we put on the building so that we can remove it easier than the last event. I'm told that the police department didn't feel it was gang related. It was artistically based.
They had a lot of time on their hands.
However, it did. We had to sandblast it off because they had put it on the masonry way up high, which was unfortunate. It was costly to do that. So we're going to put some extra security around the site during the construction process.
Appreciate that.
Welcome.
Any more questions? Seeing none, I will now close public communication. At this point, I will accept a motion.
Motion.
Second it.
Any objections? Seeing none, thank you very much. Next agenda item, staff.
Thank you, Chair. At the last Planning Commission meeting on November 9th, the Commission requested information relating to Europon Restaurant at President's Plaza on Ramona Boulevard. Apparently, a couple of days before, there was an incident at the facility or nearby that was broadcast all over the news. So what we did is, pursuant to that request, is we contacted the police department, and between November 10th of 2014 and November 27th of 2016, we got the calls for service from the police department. And in between that two-year time period, there's approximately 165 calls for service, which were broken down in the table that I provided in the staff report. And these range anything from location checks, which would be a police officer driving by, to a burglary alarm going off and the police have to go check it, suspicious persons, a fight in progress, public intoxication, if there's a traffic collision associated with the address, and then keeping the peace, and then also obviously the ongoing murder investigation that there are now. We also included in the staff report a listing of the resolutions that the Commission has approved. The most current one and one in effect is CP 783, which was approved in February of 2011. That is the most current resolution and conditions of approval that the business owner and applicant should be following. However, we did check with the police department since I had them handy, and did find that there are a couple of conditions specifically related to the police department that the owner is not currently complying with. So we will be reaching out to him and saying, hey, you need to comply with this, and give him a time frame to do that. So with that, staff is recommending the Planning Commission receive and file this report. And this concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you very much. Next item, staff communication.
That's just the Planning Division monthly report for October. If the Planning Commissioners had any questions about our monthly report and what we've been doing, we've obviously been busy, as you can see, with all the items we've been doing. If not, I can keep moving on to the verbal update on the Materials Recovery Facility and Transfer Station, the MRF in Irwindale. I don't have any update from the attorneys or anything on that. As you know, things churn very slowly in the court system. But as I've mentioned before, I wanted to keep this on the agenda just on an ongoing basis. Even if there's nothing to report, that's what I would say. So, and that's all I have.
Thank you. I'd like to, I apologize, Amy, I'd like to go back to the reports of officers and received and filed.
Yeah, that was my motion, was to receive and file the report.
Okay, then I'll accept that. Okay, do I need a motion? I have a motion. Do I have a
Second.
any objections?
I'm sorry, who motioned?
I motion.
Okay, thank you.
Any objections? Seeing none, motion passes. And I think that is... At this point, I will accept the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Any objections? Seeing none, have a nice evening.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.